we all have a limited capacity. In fact, we ourselves are a limited resource. And so balance is about protecting that. It's about acknowledging, hey, I'm getting close to empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and if I hit empty, that's too far. You know, when you think about driving a car, if you get to empty, you're on the side of the road.
I mean, that's really the thing, isn't it? There's so many parents, moms, who just get so into that rhythm of always going, that if I stop and I go to a movie or go to the spa or go on a date, or something like this, you feel like guilty. Oh, my kids need me. They didn't get to see me today. I'll do it tomorrow. And overcoming that shame is a big part of finding balance, isn't it?
It certainly is. You know, I was a single mom, and I can remember trying to overcompensate and be two parents, even though I was just one.
Yeah.
And in taking care of my two children at the time, one of the things that I really had to remind myself is that I'll never be able to be two parents, but I can be one really great parent.
Oh, that's
and
great.
in being one really great parent, I'm going to have to take time for myself so that I know what I'm feeding my children, and not just what I'm putting on the table, but what's in my heart, what's in my soul, because at the end of the day, they're going to feed from the environment that I create. And so one of the lessons that I learned as a single mom that I've even taken into my incredible partnership with my husband is the ability to communicate with my children on a level that they can understand how I'm feeling. So I have a 6-year-old, and sometimes she wants to read me a book while I'm cooking dinner and trying to respond to an email. And I'll say, I want to give you all of my attention. So if you give me 1 second to finish this email, I'll be all yours. If you let me turn the burner down, then I can be all yours. Because my tendency when I'm stressed or out of balance is to say, girl, like, what do you want from me?
Exactly,
I've been talking to people all day. I'm not ready to talk to a 6-year-old, or I'm letting the food burn. Like, forget dinner. We're going to McDonald's. I'm ready to quit everything because I didn't just communicate that, like, I'm not in a place to do everything. And so I've had to learn to not punish myself for not being everything to everyone, but to be honest about my capacity and to not judge myself for my capacity, and to trust God with other people, because that's another thing that I think we have to learn to do. If we're honest, a lot of us want to be Jesus Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that on TBN, but
no,
it's been said now. we want to be Jesus Jr. I want to be there for every single thing that's happened to you. I want to hear everything you have to say, and we just spread ourselves so thin. But even Jesus took time away.
That's right.
Even Jesus said, I need to breathe. And so while we're practicing being Jesus Jr., we might as well put on the full costume and go out into the wilderness to go out away from our disciples and our friends and our followers, and now say, God, Holy Spirit, this is what I need. This is where I am in need. So before I show back up to the multitudes, whatever your multitudes look like, you're full of the presence of presence of God and the presence of yourself.
You've really lived this, and I'm sure there had to be times during that season of your life where you felt like, I'm going to be stuck here for a long time, or you felt like, I'm not a good mom. A thought came to me as you were talking and saying this, and I'm like, I think if you feel guilty about taking time for yourself, that's a pretty good indicator that you're probably a pretty good parent. Right? Because bad parents don't feel guilty about ditching out on their kids. It's the good parents that, if you're already probably doing a pretty good job, if you have the sense like, I can't leave. And so you're just giving people permission today to invest in yourself, right? Investing in yourself is one of the best ways you can invest in others. That's kind of one of the idea I'm getting from your book, is that when I spend time here with the Lord or in a way to refill my tank, I'm going to be the kind of parent my kids need. I don't need to feel guilty.
Not only that, you're going to be the kind of spouse that your partner needs, you know, because one of the things when Touré and I first got married, he would go for the weekend and he would take some time to pray and be in the presence of the Lord and to maybe do a little shopping and eat a little sushi.
It's very spiritual. very spiritual.
Fish and 5 loaves of bread, fish and rice, it's giving sushi. And I had to really deal with my heart about that, because I think, I want to say I felt abandoned, but the truth is that I was really kind of jealous that he was able to take that time away. And then he goes, you take your time too. And when we gave one another space to do that in the context of our marriage, we became better partners to one another. Now we weren't like off the map. You know, he could find me, call me, and I can do the same. But it's an opportunity for us to breathe and exhale, because we're constantly breathing in so much.
It's funny when you said that. I remember hearing that, and I don't know if you've seen this, but resentment is located not in anger, but in envy.
Yeah, I saw that with Brene Brown.
That's who it was. Yes. It was Brene Brown. And that hit me so hard. I was like, so what you were saying was just that exact thing, that if you're feeling some resentment towards your spouse, and let's be honest, if we feel resentment, it's usually towards a spouse. You know, a lot of times it is. And there's something about what the spouse is doing that you're envious of. So it's like the way to get rid of that anger sometimes is to find a way to do what they're doing too, right? And you know, just looking at you guys, you seem like you're in love. You seem like you have a great marriage. You're so fashionable and successful. But I'm sure there's people on TV that are going, you know, I'll never have something like that, or, you know, or like, oh, of course they have balance in their life. But do you have challenges in your marriage, in your family, things you face? I mean, I know you do. I mean, but it's hard when people are home. They don't always see it because you look so great. What are some ways that do you have challenges, first of all, if you don't mind me asking such a personal question? Of course you do. But how does this idea of balance speak more to, especially in marriage, how it can help you with your marriage?
Yeah, I think that the individual is the center point of balance. And again, in a marriage, in a relationship, you are often so connected to things that are outside of you that's where the challenge comes in. When you look at a marriage, you've got two people involved in that marriage. I have discovered that when each person is well, that's when the marriage does well.
Yes.
And so the idea of balance for me, honey, you mentioned capacity earlier, and I thought that was a phenomenal word as it relates to balance, because here is the truth. We all have a limited capacity. In fact, we ourselves are a limited resource. And so balance is about protecting that. It's about acknowledging, hey, I'm getting close to empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and if I hit empty, that's too far. You know, when you think about driving a car, you know, if you get to empty, you're on the side of the road.
Right.
Right. And so you have signs and you have gauges in your car. And sometimes just a flat out knowing, wait, I've been driving for 4 days. You know, and so it is to fill up. It is to recognize that if my tank goes low, we're gonna have problems in our marriage, right? If my tank goes low, I'm not gonna have the patience or the awareness to perceive where my kid is and what my kid needs.
Yeah.
And so challenges, sure we do, because all of us flirt with the E line, don't we? You know,
empty.
We flirt with empty.
Yeah.
But I have learned, see, all it takes, I'll tell you a story. I ran out of gas one time, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
All it took me was one time to run out of gas to say, I'm never gonna run out of gas again. So we practice balance. We recognize that, man, if I'm on empty, you know, I'm gonna be fussy when I come home, I'm not gonna have patience, I'm not gonna be nurturing, and God forbid, here's the thing, the person that I am when I am not balanced is not this guy that's sitting here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you know.
Wait, when you say you ran out of empty, I thought you were talking about your car, but you meant personally.
Oh, no. Well, both.
Yeah. I want to ask you,
Yeah.
as a pastor, because as pastors, you know, people think we're these living saints, but we're not, right? We're broken and we have things we deal with. Was there ever a time where you were so overstretched that, like, you would say that my life was completely out of balance, even though I was a Christian and I loved the Lord? And
yeah, I mean, I think it certainly has happened. I think that's the impetus for this book.
Yeah.
You know, what it looks like when that happens, you know, and, you know, it looks like nothing to give. And that's the worst thing for a pastor. The worst thing for a pastor is to dread getting up to speak. The only reason why any pastor would dread getting up to speak is because he ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we love communicating, we love people, we love sharing, we love growing. So when I'm like right now, for example, I've got pastors up this week because I've been on my book tour.
Yeah.
And I've been giving from LA to New York.
Yeah.
And so, but recognizing that, not being ashamed, not
Yep.
saying, oh, my flock's gonna fall off if I
Yeah.
don't get up there and preach. No, your flock is gonna fall off if you get up there and preach, because you're not
Good
gonna have
word.
anything
That's
to
so
share.
good.
That's it.
So I leverage my team. So yeah, what it looks like for me when I'm out of balance is I have nothing,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, it's okay to not have nothing.
Yeah.
It's just
Good.
knowing what to do
Yep.
when you get there.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.